first episode of Sustaining the Future with the National Air Transportation Association. I'm Karen Huggard, Managing Director of Industry Relations with NATA, and today I'm joined by NATA's President and CEO, Tim Obitts. Welcome, Tim.
Good to be here.
NATA's mission has long been to empower our members to be safe and successful aviation businesses. But in recent years, we've been talking a lot about sustainability. Why should our members care about sustainability in general and sustainable aviation and sustainable aviation fuel in particular?
We want to help empower our members to be successful. And sustainability is the word of the day and definitely the word for this administration. In being a successful aviation business, they have to embrace sustainability and focus on that because sustainability measures are coming for aviation businesses. That's why we've been talking about sustainability these last couple of years.
So when our members hear us talk about sustainability, we're really looking out for their success because this is the future of our industry. So I know, though, that sustainability probably brings up some conflicting emotions or connotations for people. You know, is it going to jeopardize the economic stability of the aviation industry, for example? Can you talk about any myths that you would like to dispel about sustainability right off the bat?
That's a good question. I mean, there are quite a few myths out there. You know, one of the myths out there is relates to sustainable aviation fuel, that somehow it's different than Jet A. Mm-hmm. Well, that myth is wrong. It is Jet A. It is spec'd and certified as ASTM D1655. It's got the same carbon chain molecule. It is Jet A. Mm-hmm. Another myth that's out there that I hear a lot is that I have to keep SAF or sustainable aviation fuel in a separate tank. No, it's a drop-in fuel. It can be in the FBO's tanks. It can be with conventional or fossil-based Jet A. It is Jet A. We spend a lot of time trying to dispel those myths. So that'd be just one example. Another example would be that sustainability is going to cost me a lot of money. Mm-hmm. It is not going to cost a member a lot of money. Rather, by being proactive, it's going to save money in the long run because we're trying to have the message of sustainability to counteract measures up on Capitol Hill and inside the administration that will force issues like a carbon tax or other measures that will cost real money. The last myth that I love is that sustainable aviation fuel costs $12 a gallon. No, it doesn't. It doesn't at all. If consumed in California, it's a couple dollars more than fossil-based. There's a lot of misinformation out there, and we're trying to dispel that misinformation.
And what about outside of our industry? I think there's also some misinformation about the aviation industry in general and how much we are contributing, for example, to the greenhouse gas emissions worldwide.
Yeah, absolutely. You go to somebody and you ask them, how much pollution do you think aviation causes? And everybody says between 20 and 25%. When in fact, commercial aviation or all of aviation combined is just over 2% of man-made greenhouse gas emission, and business aviation is 0.04 of 1%.
So now let's talk about those numbers a little bit. Very early on into the Biden presidency, the Biden administration announced that we were rejoining the Paris Climate Agreement, which calls for a 25% reduction in greenhouse gas emissions by the year 2025. Is that correct, Tim?
That's correct. So between 20 and 25 is an aspirational goal of man-made greenhouse gas emissions in the United States.
So our industry really should look to meeting that 25% self-imposed reduction in our greenhouse gas emissions while we can control the terms of it rather than it being perhaps handed down or mandated.
Sure, absolutely. This administration wants to be a thought leader on greenhouse gas emission reduction and combating climate change. And so they have taken the measures like recommitting to the Paris Climate Agreement, having a bilateral agreement with Canada on greenhouse gas emission. and inside of each agency in the first 100 days coming up with the sustainability plan for combating climate change. And so it is important, like you say, that although we're 0.04 of 1%, that every bit helps. Mm-hmm. And so obviously the first argument in dealing with the administration and Capitol Hill was to educate people about the myth I said before about this idea that somehow our segment of the industry is the biggest polluter. When in fact, if you compare our GDP output and jobs growth, we are the least of the polluters out there of industries. Yeah, it's remarkable. Wow. And people are like, oh, how about that? So you can have a lot of fun in those conversations, but you have to talk in a meaningful and sincere way because people are passionate. Mm-hmm. There are measures that you can take through sustainable aviation fuel, through going paperless, through building, through actually solar panels and generation, and other activities that you can do, including carbon offsets, that will help reduce that amount so that we can help in meeting that 20 to 25% aspirational goal of the Paris Climate Agreement, while being good stewards and not having the federal government impose upon us a mandate. And that's what we're trying to do because the mandates cost money. They cost money for aviation businesses.